Here's Johnny.
Welcome to my world, bitch.
Hi, I'm Chucky, and I'm your friend to the end. Heidi-ho.
When you're down here with me, you float down!
Like scary movies?
Uh-huh.
What's your favorite scary movie?
What's up, guys? Friday the 14th podcast crew. We got Juan in the house for another episode. Woo, woo, raise the roof. And, you know, this guy over here, the bad guy, Nick H.
The bad guy, Nick H. H is silence.
Oh, sorry, I said it.
Why'd you say that for? You're supposed to open it, not open everyone up, man. Stop opening us all up.
No, I said the H and it was silent. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say the H.
Already off to a rough start here now.
I'm sorry, guys. But hi, guys. Welcome back to the Friday the 14th podcast. I'm Mr. Fuentes.
I'm Juan.
And
shit. I'm sorry.
Shit. I mean, because I feel like I already introduced myself already, so I'll do it again. I'm the bad guy, Nick H. H silence.
I had some technical difficulties. I'm Juan. Thanks for joining in. Glad to be a part of another episode.
Hey,
So what are we talking about today?
Shit.
So today's Friday the 14th podcast is kind of like a multiverse podcast where we get to do an episode, but with the same episode we've done in the future, but with a completely different cast than what we had before. So, yeah. So if y'all are interested, y'all could go back to one of our first podcasts on Spotify and listen to this review, which is The Collector.
Episode 3 of season 1.
Episode 3 of season 1 is The Collector.
Yeah.
Or you can watch now season 4, episode 2 for The Collector as well.
Nice.
2 different takes on The Collector. I didn't go back and research this, but maybe I should have because we're about to talk about ratings. Do you remember what Franco and Manny's ratings were?
So I did my homework. I actually listened to their audio. There's like a short one. It was like 20 minutes or so. But their ratings, do you want to jump right into the ratings, or do you want to wait until like we match up ours?
Oh, we can wait. I was just wondering if you knew what they were.
Yeah, I got them.
Gotcha. Yeah, so today we'll be reviewing The Collector. The Collector has some people that I may have seen before every once in a while in some movies. Josh Stewart's in there. He plays pretty much the main protagonist, Arkin. We have the rest of the Chase family, Michael Riley Burke, who plays Michael Chase, Andrea Roth, who plays Victoria Chase, Carly Scott Collins, who plays Hannah Chase, and Madeline Zima, who plays Jill Chase. Kind of a ironic last name for the movie since it sounds like they're being chased throughout most of it. Everyone else are kind of side characters for the most part. So I'm really not going to go into them. We do got the Collector himself as Juan Fernandez. But I'll get into more later. But I mean, I don't know if it's a spoiler, but you don't really get to see his face in this movie. So a quick snaps of The Collector. A worker named Arkin is part of a project at a house at the family of the Chases, and he his wife gets into some trouble with some loan sharks, and they need to get some money ASAP. So Arkin hits up one of his old homies, and he needs to get the money by midnight. And he hits up one of his old homies to see if we could do a heist that day, and if he can get some of the money from it. It sounds like it was something they've been planning. So They wanted to move up the time, get it out. So whenever he gets to the house to do the robbery, he realizes that he's not alone, and that the family that was supposed to be on vacation seems like they were still there with another uninvited guest. And that's pretty much the synopsis for the most part.
The snaps.
The snaps.
The snaps. It's a nice one.
So can you start us off with what the ratings were for Franco and Manny?
All right, so let's see. In what order? What should be like the revealing order? Should we go Franco first or Manny first?
Let's do Franco first.
So Franco went with the 4 machetes.
4 machetes? Okay.
And Mr. Fresh went with the 4.5 machetes.
Oh, shit. Dang,
But the funny thing about Franco, like, when you hear back his audio, and he's like, I'm going to give it a 4 point. No, I'm going to go ahead and give it a 4.
Respectable. So my rating for this movie was surprisingly, as I thought about it more, a 4. Machetes.
Stain Trails.
Stain Trails.
So yeah, realistically, trying to come up with a rating here. I think there's some stuff that could have made this movie much better or more enjoyable. I'm gonna go with a 4. 4 also cuatro machetes.
Oh boy.
Oh.
How many machetes you giving it, Juan?
No pressure.
I'm just a little lower than you guys. I still enjoyed a lot of it, and we'll get into it a little bit later. But I'm gonna give it a 3.
Who is this guy?
I was gonna go 3.5, but I think I'm gonna stick with a solid 3. 3 machetes so far for this rating.
I get you.
Yeah.
It's not for everyone. But yeah. Spoiler warning. Go check it out now on Amazon Prime or Tubi. Where did y'all check it out on? I checked it out on Prime because I'm a very impatient person. I don't like ads.
I watched it on Prime as well.
I went out and bought this, and I was going to dig into some of the special features, but I haven't yet, so got to check it out on Blu-ray.
Ooh,
it was fun. It's also on Pluto, I think. I don't know if anybody has Pluto.
Yeah, I've seen it on Pluto as well.
Does Pluto have ads?
Yeah.
I believe so. Yes, sir.
They might be longer too.
Oh,
I
no.
don't know. Maybe it was just in my head.
I think I watched Urban Legend on Pluto, right?
Maybe. I don't remember. It's more of a you would know that question.
Well, I thought we watched it on Pluto, but you might have watched it somewhere else. All right, guys. So anyone got favorite scenes they're just itching to like throw off first?
I'm already itching over here.
I could see that.
Not
That's why I was asking, to see if you wanted to go first. That itching you were doing.
So here's another. Well, it's not really like moment, but visual. It was whenever Arkin he's in the house, and the collector's also like, I guess he barely just entered, and there's that moment where I think the collector was about to go in the same room, and you see that overview.
Mm-hmm.
It was kind of very similar to like Malignant, how I mentioned that scene in that way. That I loved how they did the overview.
Mm-hmm.
Just one of the simpler scenes I liked.
What about you, Juan? Oh, sorry.
Even though I gave it a 3, I have a lot of favorite scenes. Honestly, I think the blood and the gore of this movie was just. I guess you could probably put this movie in like a torture porn category, and how like real gory it is. And I have to really appreciate like a lot of the special effects and just the physical use of like makeup and blood that they used. But 2 of my top scenes that I want to point out is the bear trap scene, where the boyfriend just gets deathed and mauled by all the bear traps. I thought it was pretty sick and pretty gruesome. And then is it the daughter, Jill? Her death was pretty innovative, I think. And that's another thing I want to point out is like all the deaths in this movie were like super innovative, and yeah, it was pretty cool. Some good scenes.
Yeah, the scene with the daughter, that was another one of my favorite moments. I mean, not that it was like the craziest kill of them all, but I just thought it was pretty hilarious. She tries to go for the scissors, and then that's what sets off the trap, and then she just goes flying into the the projector screen.
I
It's like
saw it.
that's pretty hilarious, and that projector just playing like, oh man, that's very artsy of that.
I saw a review and I wanted to bring it up. The review said like this is the perfect like Home Alone type movie for gore fans. And I was sitting there thinking about it when I was watching it. Like this kind of feels like a weird sick sadistic Home Alone movie too.
Kevin McCallister.
Gone bad.
Yeah.
In this movie, even though I gave it a 4, what I really don't have like favorite scenes more than like I really liked the story of the movie and like the traps and stuff. Like I like the intricacy of all the traps. It was kind of crazy, you know, like he walked into that bedroom and then the floor was like basically full of acid or something. And then like I thought what was really cool about like the movie itself was like I say like a lot anyway. He was almost like the perfect protagonist to the antagonist. Like the antagonist obviously had all the puzzles, and even though the protagonist had no idea how to solve these puzzles, he was still kind of like maneuvering through most of them and you know, coming with some damage, but not like enough to immobilize him. Like when he figured out the floor was basically made of acid, you know, he just kind of jumped out of his shoes and then he like hid the shoes with books and stuff. I kind of like that whole little scene in general, even when the cat tries to jump out and then it gets sliced in half with a guillotine. It was just like, dude. And then I pointed out the impossibility of him hiding behind them pillows and how the pillows were stacked. Like I was like, there's no way he could have stacked them that perfectly from behind the pillows. But okay, we'll accept it. It's a movie. But yeah, just all like I was saying, even like the chick who got flung from grabbing the scissors, got flung to the wall. It was just a very like I guess I'll talk about it more later, but yeah, same thing with what Juan was saying too. You know, I really like that scene with the bear trapped and stuff. It was almost kind of like I don't know, it was in a weird way like poetic too, because it was like he got snapped and then he fell, and then it was just like oh, and it was like a whole bunch of everything going off all of a sudden, and it's like you knew that was about to happen, and it's just like I think that was another thing that was cool about this movie too, was like you've seen a bunch of like different traps throughout the movie that kind of didn't really get used either. So you kind of are like on like anticipation of like which trap are they going to fall into. Like there was a secondary set of steps that I don't believe anyone ever stepped on the nails going up those steps, but they were there the whole time. And they were used like as a tease to give us that like, oh shit, she's about to step on it. And you're like, oh shit, okay, she didn't step on it. And there was another one too, with like the lines being crossed throughout the living room or something. Like I could just imagine someone trying to run through and just get completely like hacked into pieces. But then he ended up cutting the lines to walk through them a little bit later. So I thought that was kind of clever, that the use of like putting more traps than kind of needed in the movie to like kind of give it that anxiety or anticipation, suspense, to give it more of that suspense of like what things are about to happen in the movie, and it kind of keeps you guessing about like what trap's gonna about to be triggered and which one like is it.
You know, the house is all like filled up with like traps and whatnot. I feel like he must have like a notepad, or he just has a really good memory to remember every single trap they had set up. It just seemed like all over the house there was trap there, trap there, trap there. I feel like that'd be clumsy enough just to bump into one of my traps and just get just get myself killed. Like, oh shit, I forgot that. That's an area. Like the windows, the area. Oh, obviously I'm gonna stay away from that. But like, whenever Arkin gets his hand trapped in there, and the blade just cutting through his fingers, like, oh. Just like going back to the whole bear, the bear traps too. That was pretty hilarious because, like you're saying, like there's teases of they're gonna step on the stairs with the little needles pointing out. Like the boyfriend's like he's stepping back, like he went from they went from dodging traps to and then essentially going into the traps. So it's just hilarious. how does he like fall back into traps again? I think there's a trap before that, or they just get stabbed.
It's like his foot. He gets stabbed, but like his foot gets caught, and he goes down to a knee, and his knee gets, and then he just like slowly just falls back.
I was like, ooh.
And then his face,
clamps.
his face is the last thing that gets it. It's just like, yeah, that's pretty brutal.
Like damn. I will say the part where the cat. That's probably gonna go into my dislikes.
The cat getting chopped in half.
Yeah, dislike.
What I also thought was funny is like a very similar thing happened to Arkin whenever he broke into the house. Like he was willy-nilly just walking around the house and there was traps everywhere the entire time, but he didn't run into a single one of them. But it was all like coincidental. It wasn't like just the luck of like these characters when they first walk into the house. It's just like, it's almost like you get like a spawn like in like Halo or something, you know, you can't kill them for like the first 5 seconds. It's like you can't really kill them like the first 5 minutes they're in the house, and then after that they're gonna start running into traps. I just thought actually another thing that I thought was like, I wouldn't say like a favorite scene, but I thought it's like almost in the middle because it adds kind of comedy, but not really to the movie. Was Arkin was trying to be like the nice guy, trying to save everyone for the most part. And it was just like, how can you honestly think that these people are not going to think you're just fucking like the killer fucking with them? Like, how can you, like, why are you in their house to begin with? Like, that's my first question. Like, why are you here? You must be the killer. There is no absolute reason you'd be here unless you're the one that's harming us. So it was always funny. Like every time we tried to help someone, everyone was like suspicious of him. And then they ended up like running. Questioning. That like even the girl, like and I was like, well, that's a natural reaction. Like the girl grabbed for the scissors, not because the other guy was coming toward him, but because Arkin was there. Like she was scared of that guy, or scared of the situation or what was going on, and it just like he's just like, no. Oh, okay, you're fucked too. Okay, well, I guess I don't know. I just thought it was kind of hilarious. Like he was trying to do this good thing, and it was just like, man, like you basically almost killed everyone there. Like they would have died to begin with, but you definitely sped up that process.
Like I feel, first off, the whole family pretty much got it though, right? Everybody except for the little girl, right? Like, yeah, they. I don't know. I wish it would have done a little bit better of him, because he went there to begin with to get the money, right? To rob their safe.
Yeah, the safe to steal the Sorcerer's Stone.
Yeah, like he should have just took the money and just left. Like, I don't know, but
at least good guy.
At least he has a heart. When he should have been the bad guy.
Yeah, right? Should have been the bad guy. Lesson learned. Lesson of the day.
I really did enjoy like how this movie just does like get straight to the point. Like in the first 20 minutes, you get why he wants the money, why he's got to go back into the house, and then you get like the torture scenes just automatically start popping up. So I was really glad that this movie just like got straight to the point and just started fucking people up. Like I was glad to just I got super straight to the point. Do you guys have a favorite this probably sounds bad. Like, what was your favorite family member that died? Like, did you like the way the mom was like in the bath, or the husband was like hanging upside down, kind of, and they all seemed like they really fucking just struggled. Like they died a really long death.
Mine was the cat.
Oh. Remember last time on Hellraiser, you said that no animals were harmed during this movie. I didn't see that in this movie. I didn't see that at the end of the credits.
There's two.
They killed a real cat.
There's the cat, and then the dog got killed too, I think.
Oh yeah, the dog blew up.
Yeah, the dog the dog was brutal. The shotgun explosion, what a way to go. This movie was just like, yeah, fuck animal rights.
So I was thinking,
It was
That's
like
like,
I think it's a British American movie. Maybe the laws are a little more lax in Britain. We
so I
can
was
blow up
thinking,
animals. There's too many of them here anyway.
Bloody animals.
whenever like the cat actually escaped. I mean, I don't know. I mean, even then I was like in fucked up condition. Like had it escaped, they probably would have ran into the collector's dog and just got eaten by a dog. Dog was a savage.
You think he would have known before he got into the house, like where the hell did that dog come from? Because that dog's, got his face before he went into the house.
Mm-hmm.
When he was working on the house, the dog went in there. He was like,
Yeah, and that's what that was one of the questions I asked myself was, when at first it was like, shouldn't he have known that dog was there? Like he should have already cased his house. Like, what the hell? And it doesn't really. I mean, maybe for purposeful reasons. They didn't really explain that because then later on you realize, oh, it's the killer's dog. Wow. Okay. That's why he didn't know that dog was there because that dog wasn't there.
I still think the killer was like a Home Depot supervisor, and that's how he was able to get all that like structural stuff in that house super fast. That's just my thoughts.
Imagine if like this guy was like the killer and like COVID had happened and he like slowed down his killings and they're like, I don't know, I've been chasing this guy for 10 years and all of a sudden he's gone from like 5 victims a year to like 3 or 2. What had happened? And he's just trying to figure out how to buy material because it's so damn expensive now.
Trying to get his discounts. What'd you think of the phone trap? The first thing that popped into mind.
Yeah.
That first thing that popped into mind was, well, I mean, could have got Freddy's tongue, but instead he got a needle in his ear. Fucked up his ear damaged. Freddy's tongue. Stop.
I'd rather take Freddy's tongue.
I don't know. Like, I thought about that, like seeing, and like, I don't know why, but I'm a person who just looks at phone. Like, I mean, I haven't grabbed a phone like that in a while, but even when I grab my cell phone, like I look right at my phone before I like put it. But I guess you dial on it, right? Maybe I wouldn't have looked at it. Maybe I'd grab it and just try to type in the number. I don't know. Just like, who just puts their phone to their ear like that? I don't know. It was weird to me. But then again, we live in different times.
I got a little kid, so I always have to look at my phone before I grab it. No telling what little dirty shit she put on there. Sticky
butter.
phone. Yeah, peanut butter. So you said, Nick, your least favorite scene was the cat scene. I think, yeah. And it wasn't because it was a bad scene. It was just because it was like a really cringy, I don't want to watch this scene. So yeah, the
peeling.
I don't know if it was hot wax or hot, like you said it was acid fuente. I was like, yeah, that was, and again, it's least favorite, not because it was bad, just because it was so grotesque. And I'm like, nice. I was actually eating like, I was eating like chow mein while I was doing it. I'm like, I'm done. I can't go on with this anymore.
Right before that scene, you seen the guy. Didn't the guy get gutted before that scene too?
Oh yeah, that was a good scene. I don't mind guts.
Oh, the cat got cut down.
Oh, can't do it. Just can't do it. That whole like scenery thing, like whenever they're jumping around the stuff, I was like, oh, they're playing the floor is lava game.
I thought actually there's something I just thought about going back to the Arkin trying to save everyone. I thought that was pretty funny too, because I felt like the reactions that the family gave and even he gave were like normal reactions a normal human would have if they walked into that situation. Like, I have to try to do my best to help these people. And that was at least a good guy in Arkin. And then every family member who was about to trying to get saved by this guy was just like, yeah, I would have been highly suspicious of him too. Yes, very. Like, the realism to me, like there's even scenes where like he was in the like rooms just kind of talking to himself like, I told you to shut the fuck up, like I told you, like, he was just like mad at himself that like she is getting tortured, and it's just like, he really shouldn't even cared. Like, kind of, I mean, I'm not saying he shouldn't care, but kind of like you said at the beginning, he should have just grabbed the diamond, he should have grabbed the ruby and left, like,
Did you guys like Arkin's like story mode, like him going into the strip club and knowing why he needs to get like the money? Do you guys think that felt like, was that any kind of rushed, or did you like the story of him why he needed the money?
It's nice to throw in a little backstory every once in a while. I don't know that.
I mean, it helped you feel for the character, you know, that he was
Not
trying
just
to
to
do
like he was
something.
yeah.
He wasn't just some kind of criminal who was just getting stuff because he wanted more stuff. He was trying to help his daughter and his mother or baby mama.
I kind of had some. I had some "Don't Breathe" vibes from it. Like they you know they enter the house to get what they need, but oh, they got another thing coming. You're about to get fucked up.
I at first I was like, damn, baby mama couldn't like take money from that loan shark. Like, this sounds like her problem. Just take the kid and run, man. Let the loan sharks get the mom. But yeah, I guess that's not the type of guy Arkin is. So I guess we've talked, I think, pretty good about our favorite scenes. I guess Juan was leading into least favorite scenes. You didn't like the cat getting killed, and you didn't either. I thought that was pretty cool. I just like like I said, I like the trapped idea. That whole like scene was already what it was, and like just seeing the cat try to jump out the window and hit the line and it get cut in half. It was just like, whoa, that would have happened to my man Arkin if he would have tried to jump through the window. But I mean, it's one of those like, it was almost too obvious to be true type of like scenarios. Like he looked through the door, saw the window was open, and was like, "There's my chance." Tried to run for it, and then like got caught up in the goop and stuff. But like, if he would have made it to the window, he would have like arm chopped off at least. I don't think he would have jumped head first into it.
What do you think of that? The guy that was in the box got collected. He was collected in the box.
Oh.
And how Arkin would just go up there every once in a while. He would just pop up and check on him or something like that. I don't know if he did it with purpose or he just every time he would run up, he would just like, oh shit, you again.
Well, actually, that's one of my, I don't want to say least favorite, but I guess it's like a plot hole / least favorite, was that like, to me, like that guy getting kidnapped in the beginning of the movie and then him showing up later, like it really didn't need to happen at all for you to really know what was going on. Like they even did a flashback scene for you to try to remember that it was that guy from the beginning who's in the box. And it's just like, but like he has no importance to the story except he was the guy in the beginning who got caught.
Well, he said he was the bait, and I was sitting there trying to think of it. I was going to ask you guys, how was he the bait? Like that doesn't make any sense to me.
The bait.
Yeah, because he got him out of the box, and he was like, "What are you doing here?" And he was like, "I'm the bait."
I want to know what the timeline is in that whole thing. I mean, how long has he been locked up in that box? It seemed like he was. The flashback seemed like, I don't know. There's not really.
I guess when he means by bait, like in the beginning of the movie, there was a similar box in their house, and they all kind of like gathered around it, and like we're trying to check out what it was. Maybe he uses people in boxes that rattle and move as other people are going to come check on it while they're distracted. I can come like sneak up behind them and knock them out. Like I feel like there's better ways to do this than do that, but that may be what he meant by bait.
Mm-hmm. That's one of the only like main reasons I have a hard time with this movie. Was just the guy. Like, well, it just made no sense to me, and I was just kind of like wrapping my head around it. It was like, maybe you guys will know.
I wonder. I guess he didn't make the cut of being part of the collection. I mean, because that's one of the things that the collector's into. He likes to collect people. I'm like, well, where does he collect his people? Is not collect them in that damn box that what that guy was in. Like, I wonder if the sequel even goes further into like the territory.
That's true.
Like,
and like to me, it was just like the motive, the guy in the box being there explained like the motive, like he collects people kind of, but it really didn't explain the why still. Like, why does he collect people? What does he do with the people? Kind of what Nick was just saying. Like, you know, is there certain attributes that he likes about people? You're old as fuck. Why did he want you? Like, I don't,
maybe his bank account's big.
maybe, you know.
Maybe
He
not.
puts them on shelves and lets their spines show.
That was one of the only scenes that I was just kind of like, I don't know. It didn't really make sense to me that it was in there. At least the beginning part of the movie, but then I guess I don't know. Again, I would have rather them jump straight to Arkin going to the house and stuff, and then kind of knowing that, and then coming this, then have that beginning scene that we know there's a guy that kidnaps people or something like that.
So I'm just gonna assume that Arkin and the little girl are the only worthy ones of collecting, because the rest of the family just got pretty much killed.
Yeah, I'm kind of interested now. Like, I wanted to watch the second one before after this one, but I didn't have the time to. Arkin's in the second one, so I'm kind of like interested in how the story picks up, and maybe he's on the hunt for Arkin again, the one that got away.
The one that got away.
Well, I watched the trailer for it. I didn't watch the movie. I want to watch the movie too, but I watched the trailer for it, and the trailer, basically the guy goes out, which doesn't really make sense to me, but it does, but it doesn't. He like basically goes to a nightclub and booby traps a whole ass nightclub, and like kidnaps like 20 people for that nightclub or something like that. And then one of the girls who got kidnapped lets Arkin loose, and Arkin escapes, and then goes to the police, all the normal stuff, and basically tells them about what's going on, and they're like, all right, well, we gotta like go back right now. And he's like, what? No, yeah, we gotta go back and go save everyone. But I just escaped. Yeah, you have to come with me. You're the only person that knows like anything about this guy's house, so yeah, you have to come. And so he went. And that's pretty much
that's number 2.
And that's number 2. Yeah.
Number 2.
So I have a few plot holes that I kind of want to talk about. Why don't they say plot holes? Just what do y'all think? There are kind of plot holes, but like, what do y'all think? So how do y'all think this guy knew that they were about to electrocute the floor? Because he threw that guy in first, and then
about the killer.
Yeah, how did the killer know that they were about to use the floor like to electrocute them? Like, he obviously threw the guy in because he kind of had a hunch, I guess, that what they were about to do. But I don't know.
Yes.
Did he just think like, what would I do if I was in that situation? Like, you think he's just this really smart guy?
10 steps ahead.
He was driving. Isn't he like a
exterminator?
Yeah, he's an exterminator. So I kind of like just put together that maybe he had a blueprint of the house just so he can exterminate the whole house.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe he knew the ins and outs of what the construction crew was doing to the house, because they were kind of remodeling it, weren't they?
Mm-hmm. Look like it.
Yeah. So I don't know. That's what I would think.
I mean, I'm kind of like you were saying. The only thing I could think of is that like he knew an aquarium was in there, and he was like, if I was them, I would probably try to push over this water and electrocute it, or like throw a TV or something that's in there on it. Like, that's the only thing I could think of. But it just seemed really weird that he would just know that was going to happen.
I'm gonna throw in the idea that he has special powers. Really out there, but how his eyes glow. Yep, that's.
He can see the future.
You can see the future, or you can just see right through the area, wherever the thing doors closed off, right?
Probably. He did have those Rey Mysterio looking eyes. I was waiting for him to 619 somebody.
He said he was gonna 69 someone.
Sorry.
He always takes one. So another one of the things that I would say kind of a dislike in this movie is that just like a lot of other horror genre movies, it's like stab wounds and injuries don't really affect people for too long. It's always kind of secondary to the plot at hand. Like, everyone gets injured or hurt, and it's kind of like, oh, well, I'm just going to walk it off now that I stuck my hand in these things are razor blades. All right, I'm going to just walk it off that I just had a bunch of hooks on my back, or I'm just going to walk it off that a chandelier stabbed me with like 4 fucking knives on it. Like, and then I have enough strength to pull this guy out of a ambulance after I wreck it,
What was the trick that he was doing with the bugs? He like cut him and then put the jar of bugs up to his wound and then lit the jar like on fire.
So what I've heard, I don't know if I've heard about it with roaches, but I've heard about it with rats. That an old torture technique used to be is that you will put a rat in a jar or a metal casing or something a rat can't just get through by scratching through it. So it looks for the least resistance, I guess, to try to eat through to save itself. So if you put heat to something on one side, the rat will try to escape through the other side. It used to be an old torture technique, apparently, they would do to people. So I guess same idea, but with
bugs were trying to eat through to get out of the heat.
Exactly.
Ooh. Yeah, that was. I have that written in my notes about how torturous that was, and I'm like, yeah, I would just want to die right then and there.
Oh yeah.
Just stab me, get me out of my misery.
Arkin just had a strong will to live. I mean, it was really what it comes out to. I was watching them like try to throw hands with the collector. I was like, come on, Arkin, get some hits in there. But now it just like it always seemed like he'd get the upper hand. But then the collector was like, oh no, nah, bitch, I have the upper hand.
Yeah, I thought that was a pretty slick move. Like, it makes me think, like, if I'm ever in one of those situations, I really need to look at my surroundings a lot more. But like when Arkin pulled down the oven to like stop him from stabbing him with the knife, I thought that was pretty clever use of environment during a fight. I always find things like that clever because you really have to be on top of things like that whenever you're in the midst of a fight or any kind of thing.
That's a little bit of my thought process. Like, whenever I was saying, like, these guys actually get into a fight, what area would it be possible to actually go down with a fight? I mean, like I said, that whole house was with traps and whatnot. I was like, could have just gone to an accidental trap.
Yeah, no, I definitely I guess another one of my things was so did he set up all the traps before or after he captured everyone? And if he set it up before, why didn't they notice those boxes and stuff mounted like on the top of this staircase? There was like an obviously makeshift wooden box that helped with the chandelier dropping or some other of the ropes falling or something. There's just a lot of things that would have been, I felt, out of place to prep for this. But nobody noticed that stuff before. And if it was done after, then why, if he's already captured them? Is it still solely for the people that are going to walk in the house later? Is it solely for he thinks that they might escape, his thing? Like, why did he set up all the traps? Like, none of it makes sense.
You said some sick amusement.
My theory would be it's produced from the people that did Saw. So I'm like, I was watching this and I'm like, I think his original plan was he probably chloroformed them, set them up in their original trap, and then set up all these little Home Alone gadgets around the house. And then he just wants to sit back and watch them escape from their first easy trap and then go through the house and just get mangled. And he's like watching and just enjoying every bit of it.
Yeah, that makes sense. Because, I think pretty much the whole time when you're watching the movie, I don't think the collector even, like, he had, I'm pretty sure he puts two and two together that someone else is in the house. But I think for the most part, he tries to play it off like he doesn't know that anyone else is inside the house helping out the family. Because he doesn't go like searching for the Arkin himself, and it's until like I don't know what moment he finally realizes like, oh, someone else is here. But I mean, the family were just easily getting out of these traps. Obviously, it wasn't by themselves that they're getting help, but I think the
Yeah, like, I mean, if he was any kind of smart guy, and maybe, just maybe, the daughter had a pair of like fucking wire cutters in her pocket, and that's how she put fresh bob wire off of her neck and her arms that were all the way up here, but like you had to have known someone else did it. Like there's no way that she did it herself. But you could even see whenever she like escaped and died that it was almost like he was like, how did that happen?
Well, the way the collector was looking at her, I think he wanted her to get out. I mean, he was.
Oh yeah.
That scene.
He was looking at some of those gallons,
milk jugs,
breasticles.
That thing was hilarious. It was arcing on the other side, and then the collector's there. They're just there, like, what's going on? He's like just licking his lips, like.
Oh yeah. Sometimes I like watch movies and like when weird shit like that happens, it's just like imagining like the director in the background. All right, now I'm like some kind of creeper who's like staring at people. Yeah, lick those lips.
So it's like, yeah, the actors looking at the other actors doing that, and then you have the director and the whole team just looking into, and then the people like the extras are just looking behind the director, like just one whole big old suite of people looking at it.
Can you just imagine, like, you know, that scene's about to like go and you know someone just delivering coffee and they're just like,
some good shit.
Your latte with your extra cream. I mean, what?
Your latte with.
Hey, after you lick the that thing, cut. We'll go cut. Okay, cut. Sorry, that went way off track. That was part of favorite scenes, though, I think.
Sorry, we went back favorite scenes.
Favorite scenes. Do you want to get into the segments?
Slogans?
Well, before slogans, I think we should let's see. Recast, yeah, definitely recast. So Arkin's partner, or was his boss, whatever, the guy he's dealing with. I think they could have
His kingpin.
So initially I think you could have recasted Samuel Jackson for that part too. Just because that guy said motherfucker. It's like, oh yep. Samuel Jackson. But in all seriousness, slogans.
You said recast. I'm like, what? I didn't have that.
What recast? 3 off.
I really like had a hard time finding slogans for this when I was thinking about it, because I don't know. Even the slogan that they have, which is he always takes one, right? Or always chooses. What is it?
He always takes one.
Up the ass.
He always takes one. Yeah, I mean, like, it's like the collector, kind of like Saul. The collector, kind of like Hostile.
Kind of like Hostile. Kind of like Saul.
I only came up with one, and I said, the collector, gotta catch them all.
That's a good one.
The collector. Some have foot fetish. Some have, I don't know.
What other fetish? Did he cut that shit's tongue off?
Damn, he was pretty savage in that part.
He was probably going to put it in pickle juice.
Pickle juice. Human fetish. Collecting.
Yours, mine's, and ours. The collector.
Yours, ours. Collect.
The collector. Does he want you for his collection?
Ooh.
The collector always has time to stop to watch breast.
The collector, built by the Home Depot.
The collector, sponsored by Home Depot. Endorsed by Lowe's.
There we go. What do you guys think? We didn't really talk about her a lot, but what do you guys think of the little girl involved in this movie? Like a little 7-8-year-old girl. Like, this is a pretty graphic movie. Do you think her parents let her watch her work after she acted in the movie?
Probably not.
I think for a lot of child actors, they don't they're not allowed to watch their movies they're in until like later on in life.
There
I
are
mean,
rated movies, you mean?
well, there are rated movies, but I'm pretty sure there's some parents that are like, "Oh, go ahead, child."
Like you're gonna run away from this guy in a mask, and you're gonna see a pair of guts over there, and she's half nude over there, but you can't watch the movie till you're 16.
I think I heard like movies like the girl that played like The Exorcist. I really fucked her up for like the rest of her life.
Yeah.
Playing that movie. But
Fucking
it's just so hilarious. Like, I wonder how the casting with that. Like, look, you have to get your daughter to cast in this movie, but like, she's gonna say some obscene things in this movie, and are you okay with that? Like,
they act like the good parents. They're like, let me think about it. And then the director's like, sign here, $20,000. Okay, yeah, we're fine.
we got this.
Yeah.
I just look at them like, this won't even cover her therapy bills. Come on, man.
Can you add more zeros to it? All right. Before
But-
getting to the last, what are you gonna say from this?
I was gonna say something. Like I'm always like super impressed by like good child actors. Like it's always just crazy to me that they just have such a great acting ability at such a young age. It was just like, you know, like growing up, you have nieces, nephews, and things like that, and you just look at them and you're like, dude, my niece is the same age as that other girl in that movie, and she still eats dirt. Like, I don't know what's going on. Like, I'm super impressed by this girl right here, like the way she played this movie, because my niece does not super impress me.
This movie just took inspiration from Home Alone.
Yeah, I mean, all kinds of movies like that are always super with younger actors, even up to like preteens. Like, I think teenagers, you kind of they start to actually, they're basically adults at that point. Have had enough time to like mold them, but like a 7-year-old, like, dude, if you could tell a 7-year-old to do something and it actually does it, like it's freaking like that's some hard shit to do apparently.
Okay, before going to the last segment, does anyone want to do the honors of the ending breakdown? Breakdown, like leading up to the ending, before actually trying to come up with the ending.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll do the ending breakdown. So Arkin and the little girl, who I believe is Hannah, escaped the house. A little bit earlier in the movie, someone got to dial 911, and if no, I guess a police officer went. Anyway, they're running out to the road, and 911 ambulances are coming. Or 911 and ambulances are coming. Arkin tries to run in the road to catch their attention and gets hit by one of the vehicles, which was a really dumb move to me. I don't know why he did that. But anyway, like, I get you trying to stop him, but like, why did you have to run in front of it? Anyway, so, little girl gets picked up by an officer and he gets put inside an ambulance, and we pretty much, get to this scene where they're trying to figure out who the killer is and kind of get a little bit of a lead and stuff. So they start going to the hospital, and as they're going to the hospital, the ambulance gets rammed by a van, and the collector comes and collects Arkin, shoves him in a box, and credits roll.
At that point, they should have put like a title card saying Arkin just got collected.
Right.
And a local check mark on the box.
A Marvel ending. The collector will be back.
The collector
for the collection.
I guess before we go into that, it reminds me of another one of my least favorite scenes, which was you don't realize it more until you watch movies like this, but like we've just really gotten away from like the open credit like scenes in movies nowadays. Like, we just don't see them like very often anymore. So it was really funny to see that in this movie and be like, wow, yeah, I forgot that was a thing, because you just don't see it anymore in modern movies at all, really. So it was kind of I don't want to say a dislike, but it kind of was a dislike. I don't know. You take away from my movie time, man. You're giving me like 10 minutes of credits when you're gonna give me 10 more minutes of credits at the end? I just
That
don't
was
get
a pretty long intro. Like, was it how the I forgot how the way it went. There's a I don't know, some crazy ass music, and then you hear the little like screaming. Ah!
Yeah, I'm kind of opposite. I do like some, depending on movies, what movie it is. Like if it's a movie like this or Saw, I do kind of like the opening credits because especially if the music is like really chilling or you hear like weird, nasty, gross sounds like the screams in the background. Like I think it's pretty cool. Movies
Gives
like
some
this,
vibes.
yeah, it gives you some good vibes. Or you have movies like Scream where you have the like 10-minute opening scene and then just the Scream title. So it kind of works both ways. I get your dissatisfaction though.
I don't know, there's some of my openings, and then one opening that comes to mind was American Horror Story.
Oh, that's a good song. Yeah.
Well, that was another thing too. Like watching it all the way through, I was like, what am I watching? A TV series right now? What's going on? Like, why am I watching this opening scene? Like, I don't know. But at the same time, like, it's just because it doesn't happen as often anymore. It's just like it was just a really weird. I mean, I appreciate opening scenes to TV shows as well. Sometimes I'll watch the whole opening scene, but I don't know. I just find it weird in our day and age that people that I wouldn't say still do it because it was 2009. But
did you guys like at all look at this release date and be like, "Damn, this movie is already over 10 years old"? Like I was sitting there I remember when this movie came out because I was working at a video store, and everybody was like having to grab it because they're like, "Oh, it's so gross and grotesque, I have to go see it." And I'm like, damn, this is over 10 years old already. I'm just sitting here like I could just remember like yesterday it was like being delivered and shit. And I'm like, damn, whatever. It's just a thought. I don't know if you guys think about shit like that either.
I try not to think, but no, it is pretty old.
I saw when I saw
13
when I saw 2009 date, all I thought was like, oh, ooh, another movie of the 2009 era that we review. I think there's like maybe 4 other movies we reviewed on 2009.
It was a good
Yeah,
year.
but this is late 2009. I think the last one that I remember that was in the 2000s was Freddy vs. Jason. It was like 2003. I was like 2009. Yeah, this must have been when dubstep was popular.
So how would you end it? I want to go first.
I'll go first. My first thought, I thought the initial ending was going to be when the police officer grabbed the young girl. I was like, oh, is this how it ended? It wasn't how it was ended. So the way I would have ended it would be, the little girl had nothing else to live for. Her whole family was dead, whether she knew it or not, and so the way I would have ended it, probably a little weird and gross, but I would have had the collector come up from behind her, and then she just looks up at him and just grabs his hand and then just goes with him. Because, at this point, she has nothing else to live for. She don't really know that dude who tried to save her. So she's like, this guy took everything away from me. I'm just gonna roll with him. So that would have been, and he could have like groomed her or something. That could have been like a little stepchild or something. But yeah, it was a little dark ending, but that's how I wrote how I would have ended this movie.
Nice.
Yeah.
So I really like the ending in a sense. Like at first I was a little beside myself because I was like, man, I really like Arkin. He was trying to do the right thing. Sucks that he got kidnapped in the end. But at the same time, I accept that he got kidnapped. I kind of wish it was more of I don't know, some kind of struggle or something different that he could have at least I don't know, maybe a little. I don't want to say a little more dramatic, but maybe a little bit more of a tease. Like, did he actually get captured, or is it like just a real big hint that he's about to get captured? Because it was definite by the end of that movie that he definitely got captured. There was no like, no, he didn't. He could have escaped or something. Like, no, he got put in that box for sure. But I don't really have like I said, I've said it, I think in the last podcast. Yeah, that's what these are called. That, I really don't. I do like the ending to this, and it definitely sets it up for. It gives it an open ending. Whether this could be the last time we ever see this movie, or if they had a sequel, which they ended up doing, it kind of sets it up for that. So I like how it ended for the most part. I don't really think I'd change much.
That was an interesting, cool ending. Maybe we kind of got with the lighter, not too much light. The Arkin actually does get out there. He gets the mission accomplished, whole thing, tie up his story, and then whenever that's done, like it tries to play off with the nice, lovely music going on, and at the end of it, it is transitions to like a dark area, and it's just the collector and his whole like I guess where he has his whole collection. I don't know, like show off his little collection of people he apparently collects in a dark area, kind of like a Jeepers Creepers instead of like showing Justin Long's face. It'd just be like just that whole area, and then do the whole Marvel thing. Collector will be back. I'm bad.
Gotta catch them all.
Gotta catch them all. It's like you think it's gonna be a happy ending, but
the
very
best.
It'll still be a dark ending.
But I agree with you guys though. I really like the ending. I wouldn't really, if I had to choose not to change anything, I wouldn't. But pretty fun.
I really like your ending, because then it sets up the possibility that part 2 is the girl collecting for the guy.
And you know what? I don't know if you guys have done this, but after talking about it, can I move my rating up to 3.5? I think I'm gonna go from a 3 to 3.5. It was a fun talk and a fun conversation about the movie. I didn't really have a lot to say negative about it though. So 3.5
Nice.
for me.
3.5. I'm gonna stick with a 4.
I did think it was pretty cool, or it's a pretty unique idea that it was like two different types of criminals casing one house and ended up trying to do their sting on the same day. I thought that was kind of a cool little idea that they had. Like basically thief versus robber, the honest thief versus the robber, or not the robber, the honest thief versus the killer. Torture? I don't even know. Like he was a killer, but really, like it's like when you talk about someone like this guy who likes to torture people, do you call him a torturer or do you call him a killer because he has killed people? Or is killer just an overall genre and he's a torturer / killer?
You call him the collector.
He's a collector. I guess that's what you just call collectors nowadays.
He's just a collector.
When you ask people, "Are you a collector?"
Yes.
Which one? The killer collector?
What am I collecting?
Bodies, human bodies. Are they alive or dead? They had to be alive.
Like, yeah, no. I was gonna say, well, during that scene where like the one you were talking about the roaches, trying to get through his body. Like he was really upset about those slurs that Arkin was throwing toward his way. I was like, I wonder if there was some truth to any of those slurs. Like,
it hit home.
That really hit his I haven't seen the. Have any of y'all seen the second one, the collection?
Negative.
Not yet.
I haven't seen the collection either. But I definitely want to see it after this movie because I'm not hoping, but I was like actually looking into just like before I watch movies, I kind of do a simple search, and just random crap comes up. So there was supposed to be a third installment to this series called The Collected. But it sounded like it got scrapped. I don't know if it had to do with COVID reasons or apparently they started shooting like the first 8 days or something of it and then just quit and then scrapped it.
Probably COVID.
Huh?
COVID messed it up.
Right.
You're talking about the Amityville, or not the Amityville, but the that FX show, and it made me think of COVID.
Oh.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, COVID kind of ruined like two things for this guy: his his wallet and his next movie.
Mhm.
I think we can all just put a hashtag fuck COVID on this episode.
Especially the collector, he would for sure. But anyway, I was trying to get into the second movie. I kind of really hope they get a little more in depth into who the collector is, or at least some of his motives behind why he does what he does. Like I don't know. I like mystery, but then I don't. Like sometimes they add a little too much when they try to like. I really like the first Equalizer movie with Denzel Washington. Right? Denzel Washington?
Yeah.
Yeah. And whenever they, you don't really know who he is. You don't really know none of his background. You just know he's just a citizen who's just trying to help people out. And he happens to have these things. Then you get into Equalizer Part 2. And then it gets too much in depth into who he used to be and all this other stuff. And it's just like, all right. I mean, it was kind of cool that he had the mystery. And it would have been cool if he told a little bit about his past. But you really went into like his past. And it kind of killed his mysterious vibe that he was having since the first one.
Number 3 is filming this year.
Huh?
Number 3 is filming this year.
That's what I heard.
Yep.
The Equalizer. He's gonna be the next Liam Neeson. Getting old as shit, but we keep hitting him in action movies.
Arkin was taken.
Collector versus Equalizer. But yeah, any final words, guys, about this movie?
Final words. Check it out on Prime or Tubi.
Definitely go check it out. I'd watch it again. So I'd recommend.
Yeah, it's definitely one I would
sponsored by Home Depot.
It's definitely a movie I would recommend to people if they were to ask, like, what's a good horror movie to watch. I would probably say this one, if they don't mind a little bit of gore. To me, it's like the gore was pretty, like, it was pretty there, but at the same time, like, they could have taken it a step further if they actually cut out that chick's tongue, like live or like on video. But they did it. To me, that was like their step. That was like their step too far, and they knew it. And they're like, man, we cut off this chick's tongue, like we're that movie. And he's like, do we want to be that movie? And I think they toned down some of the goriness they could have done in this movie.
Oh yeah, for sure.
At their limits.
Yeah, I think they had like, I don't know if they had like a gore rating guy who was just like, all right, this is about as much gore as we can get. Any more than this, and y'all are overdoing it, guys.
Because this was rated R, right? It wasn't NC-17. Yeah, it's rated R, so I'm pretty sure if they cut out the tongue, it would have put it up to like NC-17 or something like that.
You think so? I've never seen Hostel, but I've heard that horrible shit happened in that movie.
Yeah, it can be pretty brutal, but like you would go from like a worldwide theater release to just let's just put it in 6 theaters. Because I don't think that many people would go see an NC-17 movie.
I've never even known a movie to be rated NC-17
or rated M. Or rated M. I think matures one as well. So it made $10 million though in the budget I saw, and I was like,
we forgot to look at budget. That's one of the ones I keep forgetting.
Compared to I think it was a $3 million budget and made 10 back, so that's pretty big. So
I'm always confused how that works. Like how you make monies on opening day things. Like obviously people go to the movie theaters and you collect money kind of from that. But did they get like, do they have like a loan shark that hits up like each theater? Like how many people bought tickets?
They get everything. They get everything back from ticket sales. I think the theater only makes like pennies on the dollar for each ticket sale. That's why when you go to the movies, the popcorn is like $20.
Huh. That's interesting.
Interesting. Alrighty, guys. You wanna? Is there any final words before closing out?
Yeah, I would definitely say check this movie out. It was a real enjoyable watch. We doubled what Manny and Franco did the first time they reviewed this, so we beat them. I think. I was kidding.
Wait. We doubled.
No, no, it was fun kind of going back and reviewing something that we kind of reviewed in the beginning. I don't know, maybe if Nick would be against it or Juan, but maybe we should make this a theme for some of those first ones that me and Nick weren't really a part of. Maybe we could start going back and giving our ratings on those movies, because there were some pretty good movies that reviewed for those first ones that me and Nick were not a part of, really. So it would be interesting to kind of go back and revisit those movies. Obviously, we have a bunch more movies we could be reviewing as well. So we'll just talk about that and see what's going on. But anyway, so yeah, so I'm Mr. Fuentes. I am a rapper. If y'all don't know, y'all can check me out on Apple Music, Spotify, anywhere else y'all listen to music. And actually, while I was doing this, I realized I need to announce the next movie. So next time we come out and see y'all for a new episode, it's going to be, I believe, February the 9th. And February the 9th, for our next movie we're going to review, we're going to have a special guest. And this is the special guest pick for this movie. So next time we do Friday the 14th podcast, we will have a special guest of the one, the only, the Corpus Christi legend, Rob Zilla, with us to review Alien 3, which was his pick. I think Alien 3 is on Amazon Prime right now as well. I think all of them are. If y'all want to check them out there. But Alien 3 is going to be our next movie, I believe. If I'm not mistaken, this is kind of like our first sci-fi kind of horror-ish thriller movie.
I think so.
I think so too. I mean, unless you count like, I still don't think we ever. I say this all the time, and then Nick corrects me that they reviewed the remake of Friday the 13th. I was like, but we still have yet to review an actual Friday the 13th movie on this podcast. But I don't know. That would be like sci-fi supernatural. What, a zombie basically coming back to life all the time.
Part 9 would be a shithole zombie movie. I'm not going to get into that though. Oh wait.
Man, he had to suffer through all those movies, and I know some of them weren't great either. It's like going through all like the Freddy movies. You watch one, and it's such a freaking masterpiece. It like really is, like a Nightmare on Elm Street. And then part 2 is just like, what the fuck am I watching?
So you guys are doing Alien 3. Have any of you guys seen it before, or is this going to be like a first time watch for you guys?
It might as well be a first time watch, because the last time I seen it was when I was a child. Like, I don't really remember much. I don't really remember much of any of the Alien movies, to be honest.
Yeah, same here. I don't know. Sci-fi horror wasn't really. I wasn't really too big on sci-fi horror.
Yeah, I see a lot of cosplayers, about to get down. Oh, sci-fi horror. Okay, yeah, okay. Yeah, sorry. I got distracted there for a second. But
are you guys gonna watch any of the other ones, like 1 or 2, before you go watch this one, or just random?
If I have time, I'm gonna try to watch all 3 of the movies, because there's a trilogy, right? And then Prometheus.
There's like 6 of them.
Oh, there's like Resurrection and all kinds of shit, huh?
Yeah.
Resurrection.
There's a lot of these movies. No, I'm only gonna watch at least the first 2, so I'm at least caught up for the 3rd. Unless there's like a middle one in there, then I guess I'll watch that one too.
2.3.
Right?
2.3.
We're gonna Kingdom Hearts this bitch. We're gonna get a 1.8. You're gonna get a 2.5, a 2.8. Yeah, so Alien 3. Anyway, back to what my sign out. Alien 3, Rob Zilla, February 9th. We'll see y'all then. And I'm Mr. Fuentes. Y'all can check out my music on Spotify, Apple Music, and anywhere else you listen to streaming. You can also check me out on YouTube under Absolute Kings. I really appreciate everyone that made it this far into the podcast. Again, I appreciate both these guys being on the podcast, it definitely makes this hour and 9 minutes and 45 seconds would not really feel like 9 minutes, an hour, 9 minutes and 45 seconds. So it's really good being with these guys, and I hope we can give out more reviews throughout the year that are as entertaining as the last two I think that we've done. Off to I guess this guy down here.
I'm Juan. You guys can check me out on the Instagram. It's just one word, Cinema Movie Podcast. I put out a podcast every Monday, and we talk a bunch of different movies. You guys can listen to it wherever you listen to this one at. So, I just want to say it was fun. Can't wait for the next one. And we're big physical media fans, so hit us up on the Instagram, Cinema Movie Podcast. Thank you. Can't wait for next time. Nick, what about you? What do you where can we find you at?
You can follow me at BadGuy2313. I've been posting a lot more, I guess. Some more of my physical media collections. I think for the most part that's why I want to be posting up more often. Besides the Instagram, you can catch me on here, YouTube, and besides Friday the 14th, the main show, you can follow me and Juan on UHD, our new show, where we cover underrated horror discoveries. Our next episode, which will be next Wednesday, It Follows. That was Juan's pick.
I'm excited.
Looking forward to still getting the feels of this new show.
If I have time, I might join that one. I've seen that movie. And
you're not invited.
I have words to say.
Nope, you're not. No, just straight up. Nah, I mean, if one wants to show up, then he can show up on there.
Y'all heard him, guys. He uninvited me officially. If I'm not there, it's because of that.
Because of that.
Deeply hurt.
Also, I mean, do HD, and then we plan on doing some bonus stuff.
Yeah, like we had an unboxing on the UHD last week, so that was pretty fun.
Yeah, just I think more of the bonus stuff just to get our name out there. To be unboxings or random shit. I don't have any Almost All Lives planned up, so there's none of that. If you're tuning on this channel, you just find some of our recent wrestling highlights, interviews. I think the last interview was with a wrestler named Izzy James. That was a pretty good stream. So shout out Franco, shout out Annie, shout out Izzy James. That is it on my end.
Awesome. Well, remember, guys, always bet on the bad. I'm just kidding.
Remember, folks, always bet on the bad guy. Thanks for tuning in, visually and audio.